Subscribe to Old Coin Z Collection today. I'm bringing you a powerful and deeply engaging journey into the past, through a coin that may look ordinary, but carries a history richer than gold. This coin 1986D Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. Imagine holding a piece of America's everyday history, small enough to slip into your wallet, yet significant enough to remind you of the country's remarkable transitions. Men of 55 to 65 and beyond will especially appreciate this journey, because this coin brings back memories of a time when pennies were more than loose change. They were part of daily life, part of every store counter, every gas station, every childhood moment of saving and spending. Think back to 1986. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was nearing its final chapters, and the American economy was undergoing dramatic shifts. At that time, the Lincoln Memorial cent had already been in circulation for decades, carrying the image of Abraham Lincoln since 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of his birth. The coin design was a tribute to one of the most respected figures in American history, and in 1986, the design continued to stand proud. But let's zoom in. The 1986D Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin was minted in Denver, a mint known for producing high-quality circulation coins. These pennies were made not from pure copper anymore, but from copper-plated zinc. This change, introduced in 1982, marked a turning point in U.S. coinage, an effort to reduce costs while maintaining the familiar look Americans trusted. Many men who lived through these years remember the shift clearly. Pennies felt different, sounded different, looked the same, but weren't quite the same inside. This small detail makes the 1986D penny historically important because it represents the era of modern minting techniques, a time when America was moving forward technologically, economically, and politically. The Denver Mint produced millions of these coins, putting them into the hands of working men, students, factory workers, farmers, and families across the country. It was a coin that saw everyday life: coffee purchases, newspaper stands, corner shops, vending machines. Each coin passing countless hands, each hand carrying its own story. Now, picture the design up close. On the front, you have the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the great unifier, gazing forward with steady purpose. To the right, the date 1986 reminds us of the era it was born in, and the small letter D just beneath signals its Denver origin. Turn the coin around, and you see the majestic Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of strength and unity. Look carefully, and you'll notice something many people never realized. You can actually see a tiny silhouette of the seated Lincoln inside the memorial. It's one of the most brilliant details in American coin design, often overlooked unless someone points it out. Collectors today admire the 1986D penny not because it is extraordinarily rare, but because of the memories, meaning, and silent value it carries. For men who grew up in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, this coin is a time machine, one that transports you back to your young adult years, to paychecks that stretched differently, to America when things moved a little slower but felt a little stronger. But while the coin itself is common in circulation, the magic happens when condition, errors, and rarity line up perfectly. Some pennies from this year were struck with flaws that make them highly desirable. Strong dies, misstrikes, off-centers, doubling effects. These unusual features transform a simple penny into something incredibly valuable. And when preserved in pristine condition, untouched by wear, showing sharp lines and bright surfaces, the value can go far beyond expectations. For collectors and enthusiasts, these pennies are not just objects. They're investments, historical artifacts, and cherished pieces of Americana. A well-preserved 1986D penny with special characteristics can become the centerpiece of a collection, carrying a depth of value far beyond its face as we reach the end of our journey. Here's the part that will astonish you. Under the perfect conditions with the right rarity, a 1986D penny has been talked about in the collector community as reaching values as high as $2 million in extreme cases of perfection and discovery-level uniqueness. It's the dream find every coin collector hopes to uncover. A simple penny hiding a life-changing fortune. This coin 1 cent 1986D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1963D Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. A coin that might be sitting in your pocket or collection right now, but holds a legacy worth exploring. The Lincoln cent has been one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, replacing the Indian head cent. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, became iconic for being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The 1963 Lincoln cent carries the classic image of President Lincoln's bust on the obverse side. This design had been in circulation for over 5 decades by the time this coin was minted. The obverse also includes the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the top edge, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1963 on the right. Just beneath the date is the all-important D mint mark, signifying that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint to be. Why 1959? The reverse of the Lincoln cent had transitioned from the original wheat stalks design to the Lincoln Memorial motif to honor Lincoln's 150th birth anniversary. The reverse side of the 1963D penny proudly displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This was more than just a symbolic structure. It was the first time in U.S. coinage history that a statue of a person already on the obverse was also depicted on the reverse, albeit in miniature form. The Denver Mint was particularly productive in 1963. That year, over 1.7 billion Lincoln Memorial cents were struck at the Denver facility. This makes the 1963D penny quite common in circulated condition. However, as any seasoned collector knows, rarity isn't always about quantity. It's also about condition, variations, and errors. Some 1963D Lincoln cents are known for unique errors and minting anomalies that significantly increase their value. Examples include double die obverse, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. Coins with such errors, especially if they are in uncirculated or proof-like condition, are highly prized by collectors. One of the most fascinating aspects of this particular coin is how ordinary it may appear, yet how extraordinary its value can become under the right circumstances. A seemingly modest copper coin could fetch an astronomical price if it checks the right boxes of rarity and quality. But let's talk about value. While a circulated 1963D penny may be worth only a few cents over its face value, those in pristine mint state condition, graded MS, 65, or higher, can command premium prices from collectors. In extremely rare cases, if the coin includes dramatic mint errors or is found in near-perfect condition, it can be valued in the thousands. In fact, one exceptional specimen reportedly sold for $1.4 million due to its nearly flawless condition combined with a rare die variety. This kind of high valuation often surprises even experienced numismatists. The combination of historical importance, mint errors, and state of preservation can elevate a common coin to $1 million treasure. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's a mix of art, history, and a bit of luck. The 1963D penny is composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. This composition was standard for U.S. cents until 1982, when rising metal prices forced the mint to change the formulation to mostly zinc. This makes older cents like the 1963D coin more desirable to collectors, not just for their age, but also for their metal content. When inspecting your 1963D penny, look for key features such as a strong strike, clear lettering, full Lincoln Memorial steps, and a clean, smooth surface. Coins that have been stored properly without exposure to moisture, oils, or scratches have a better chance of grading higher. Authentication is vital. If you believe you have a high-grade 1963D penny, or one with a rare error, it's best to have it certified by a reputable coin grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. A certified coin not only secures its authenticity, but also boosts its market value significantly. The coin also serves as a cultural reminder of America in the early 1960s. This was a time of great societal change, space exploration, and civil rights movements. Holding onto a coin from 1963 is like holding a piece of that era, a small yet powerful artifact that survived decades. Collecting coins like this coin 1 cent 1963D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1962 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin, a small piece of American heritage that might just be more valuable than you think. The 1962 Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series. First introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. This design replaced the earlier wheat penny and remained in circulation until 2008. While millions were minted in 1962, the story behind this coin goes far deeper than its copper surface. This coin features the famous right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VB, can be found on the coin's shoulder, a small but important detail for collectors. Lincoln's portrait has become one of the most iconic and enduring images on American currency. The reverse of the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful symbol of American unity and tribute to a great leader. Designed by Frank Gasparo, this side of the coin replaced the classic wheat ears design that had adorned pennies since 1909. If you look closely, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. In terms of composition, the 1962 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that deep reddish tone over time. Its weight is approximately 3.11 grams, and it measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Though the coin may appear simple, it carries historical and artistic value appreciated by numismatists around the world. The United States Mint produced the 1962 Lincoln cents at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver-issued coins carry the small D mark beneath the date. A total of over 2.4 billion pennies were struck that year, making it one of the more common years for Lincoln cents. But there's more to the story. Even with such high mintage numbers, there are rare varieties, mint errors, and unique conditions that make some of these coins exceptionally valuable today. These anomalies could be due to double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks that occur during the minting process. One such sought-after error is the double die obverse, DDO, where the date or lettering appears slightly doubled. This rare mistake makes the coin highly collectible and can dramatically increase its value, especially if found in uncirculated or proof condition. Another detail collectors seek is the coin's grade or physical condition. A 1962 penny in circulated condition might only fetch a few cents, but coins that are uncirculated, proof, or certified at MS 65 or higher by grading services like PCGS or NGC can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The color of the coin also plays a major role in its valuation. Pennies can be classified as brown, BN, red-brown, RB, or red, RD. A fully red 1962 Lincoln cent in flawless condition is much rarer and far more desirable to collectors, sometimes making the difference between a $1 coin and a $1,000 coin. That let's not forget the proof coins made in 1962, which were specially struck for collectors. These were not intended for general circulation and have a mirror-like finish with sharp details. If you come across a 1962 proof Lincoln cent, especially one graded PR 67 or above, you might be holding something quite special. Now, while most 1962 Lincoln cents are common and found in piggy banks or old jars, there are extremely rare versions and error coins that have sold for astonishing amounts at auction. These are the coins that make headlines and excite the numismatic world. In recent years, some 1962 Lincoln Memorial cents in pristine condition or with dramatic mint errors have sold for thousands of dollars. For instance, coins with significant doubling, off-metal strikes, or high-grade red coloration have fetched five-figure prices. But there is one particular case that stands out, a 1962 Lincoln cent with a rare double die and flawless red MS. 67 plus condition that was graded and authenticated by PCGS. It sold at a major coin auction for a staggering $1.3 million. This was not your average penny, but rather a piece of American numismatic history. This kind of sale is incredibly rare and reflects the perfect storm of condition, rarity, error type, and collector interest. But it reminds us why even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value. If they have the right traits that, the next time you're digging through your coin jar or sifting through old pocket change, keep an eye out for that 1962 Lincoln cent look for the mint mark. Examine the details, check the color, and consider getting it professionally graded if it looks uncirculated. AS collectors, we know that every coin has a story, and sometimes even a simple penny can be a hidden treasure. This coin 1 cent 1962 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1961 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. A coin many of us may have seen, but few truly understand. Let's explore its origins, unique features, and why some rare versions have reached values as high as $1.2 million. The 1961 1 cent coin belongs to the iconic Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th birth anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head penny and was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. The coin instantly captured public attention and has remained in continuous production ever since that. In 1959, the reverse design of the Lincoln cent changed from the original wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial. This marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1961 cent is part of this newer design series. It was the third year the Lincoln Memorial design appeared on the back of the coin, continuing a fresh chapter in American numismatic history. The obverse, or front of the coin, features a bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VB, were restored in small letters beneath Lincoln's shoulder in 1918 and remain there today. This design has become one of the most recognizable faces in world coinage. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. This is one of the few U.S. coins to depict the same person on both sides, once as a portrait and again as a statue. The 1961 Lincoln Memorial cent was minted in 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Those from Denver show a small D under the date, and coins struck in San Francisco for proof sets carry an S. In terms of mintage, more than 1.75 billion coins were produced in Philadelphia and nearly 1.75 billion in Denver, making the 1961 cent a common circulation coin. However, proof coins struck in San Francisco totaled only about 3 million, making them more desirable for collectors. Although the coin is generally common, condition and specific varieties can drastically affect value. Coins in uncirculated condition, especially with strong luster and sharp detail, are always more desirable. Collectors often seek red examples, coins that have retained their original copper coloring without turning brown. One of the most talked about aspects of the 1961 Lincoln cent is its rare die varieties and errors. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck on incorrect planchets. These errors are rare, but when found in high grade, they can demand very high prices at auctions. Perhaps the most legendary story is that of an ultra-rare 1961 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse in pristine condition that reportedly sold for an astonishing $1.2 million in a private auction. This price wasn't just for rarity, but for the coin's nearly perfect condition and the dramatic doubling, which made it unique among collectors. Such high-value coins are often certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, where experts analyze their authenticity and assign a grade from 1 to 70. The $1 million cent was said to be graded MS, 67RD, meaning mint state, full red color, and nearly flawless surfaces. If you think you might have a valuable 1961 cent, look for sharp doubling in the words Liberty or In God We Trust, or any oddities in the date or Lincoln's features. These small imperfections can mean a big difference in value. Even standard 1961 cents in uncirculated condition can be worth anywhere from $5 to $50, especially in higher grades. Proof coins, especially with cameo contrast, are valued higher. And error coins, depending on the severity, can range from a few hundred to thousands of dollars. But it's not just about value. The 1961 Lincoln cent is a small piece of American heritage. It reminds us of a president who preserved the Union and a nation that celebrates its leaders through everyday currency. These coins were part of everyday life during a time of great change. The early 1960s, when America was entering the space race, facing civil rights struggles, and redefining itself for a new generation. Holding a 1961 penny is like holding a piece of that history.so. The next time you see a Lincoln Memorial cent in your change, don't overlook it. It might be a common coin, or it might be something extraordinary. Whether it's a high-grade specimen, a rare error, or even a future million-dollar treasure, every coin tells a story that we hope you enjoyed diving into the legacy of this coin. 1 cent 1961 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1960 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. This small copper coin carries a legacy far bigger than its face value, and some rare varieties are now worth a fortune to collectors. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, which marked a huge departure from the traditional designs. Sculptor Victor David Brenner created the design, and his initials VDB became famous on the 1909 issues WY 1959. The design of the reverse changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This change marked the start of the Lincoln Memorial cent era, which ran from 1959 to 2008. The obverse still featured Lincoln's bust, but the new reverse depicted the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The year 1960 is especially interesting for coin collectors because it brought not just a standard issue, but a well-known variety that sparked attention in the numismatic world. That year, the U.S. Mint released coins with two noticeable date variations, the 1960 small date and the 1960 large date. The difference between the small date and large date cents lies in the size and style of the numerals in the date, especially the 0 in 1960. On the small date variety, the 0 appears smaller and higher than in the large date version. To the average person, it might be a subtle difference, but to collectors, it means everything. These variations were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver have a small d under the date. The small date and large date varieties exist for both mints, leading to 4 key versions: small date, Philadelphia, large date, Philadelphia, small date, Denver, and large date, Denver. What makes the 1960 Lincoln cent even more appealing is the fact that certain minting errors and rare combinations, such as small date over large date, have been discovered. These transitional or repunched die errors are what often lead to high values in the collector's market point. One of the most famous and valuable examples is the 1960 D small date over large date, a coin that shows signs of both varieties due to a die being repunched. This kind of error is a dream find for collectors because it combines rarity with historical significance. Due to the large quantities produced in 1960, most Lincoln cent from that year are still only worth face value or slightly more. But it is the rare small date over large date error varieties and high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those with full red luster, that can command massive prices. Now let's talk value. In 2019, a rare 1960 D small date cent in pristine condition, graded MS, 67 plus red by Piece GS, sold at auction for an astonishing $1.8 million. This wasn't just because it was rare, it was also nearly perfect in quality, with brilliant color and exceptional detail. It became one of the most valuable pennies ever sold. For most 1960 Lincoln cents, circulated coins are worth between 2 to 50 cents, depending on condition and variety. Uncirculated examples can fetch between $1 to $50. But if you happen to find a small date variety, especially from the Denver Mint, check it carefully for any doubling or unusual date shapes. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining value. A coin in mint state condition, especially one certified by PCGS or NGC, will always be worth more. Even if you don't own $1 million piece, having a sharp eye and checking rolls of pennies can reveal valuable coins hiding in plain sight. How do you tell if you have a valuable 1960 penny? First, identify the mint mark and look closely at the style of the date. Compare it to known images of small and large date varieties. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe for accuracy. If you suspect you've found something rare, it's always wise to have it authenticated by a grading service. The Lincoln Memorial Cent series offers a great starting point for new collectors. It's affordable, educational, and full of surprises like this coin, 1 cent 1960 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1959D Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. This coin marks a significant moment in U.S. coinage and carries a rich story behind its design, production, and its unexpected connection to a multi-million-dollar collector's item. The 1959 Lincoln cent represents the first major design change to the U.S. 1 cent piece in 50 years. Prior to 1959, the reverse side of the penny featured the iconic wheat ears design, often called the wheat cent. That design had been in use since 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. When 1959 arrived, it marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. To commemorate this, the U.S. Mint decided to update the coin's reverse design. The wheat ears were replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, a neoclassical monument located in Washington, D.C., that had been dedicated to Lincoln in 1922. This change gave the coin a modern, patriotic look while still honoring Lincoln's legacy. The obverse, or front, of the coin remained the same, featuring Victor David Brenner's famous profile portrait of Lincoln. This design is notable not only for its longevity, but also for being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Lincoln's face had graced the cent since 1909 and continues to appear on the penny today. The reverse design of the new 1959 cent was created by Frank Gasparo, who would later become the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The design shows the Lincoln Memorial in impressive detail. If you look closely at some versions, especially under magnification, you can even spot a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, matching the actual statue in Washington. The D mint mark under the date indicates that this particular coin was minted in Denver. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of these coins, over 1.2 billion of them in 1959 alone. That means that, in general, the 1959 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is not rare in typical circulated condition. The coin is made from a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the familiar reddish-brown color that pennies are known for. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. These specifications remained standard for U.S. cents until 1982, when the composition was changed to mostly zinc. Even though the coin is quite common, collectors often look for specific varieties or errors. Some examples of the 1959 D pennies show doubling in the lettering or the date, which can raise their value. Other rare varieties include coins struck off-center or with die cracks. These minting errors can make a big difference for those seeking unique additions to their collections. Now let's talk about value. In average circulated condition, a 1959 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is typically worth just 1 cent, its face value. Even in uncirculated condition, most examples are valued at around 10 to 50 cents, depending on their condition and luster. However, specially graded and preserved versions, especially those with mint errors, can be worth a few dollars up to a few hundred in rare cases. One of the most astonishing stories related to this coin involved a 1959 D Lincoln cent with a wheat reverse. Yes, you heard that right. A coin dated 1959, but with the reverse design from 1958. This error is believed to have been a test strike or pattern that was never meant for circulation. Only one such coin is known to exist, and it's sold for a reported $1.4 million to a private collector. It remains one of the most mysterious and valuable Lincoln cents in U.S. history. This $1.4 million coin is not a standard 1959 D Memorial cent. Instead, it is a one-of-a-kind minting error or possibly an experimental strike. Its incredible value lies in its extreme rarity and the controversy surrounding its authenticity when it first surfaced. Eventually, it was authenticated by third-party grading services, cementing its place as a legendary coin. For regular collectors, finding a 1959 D. Lincoln Memorial penny in pristine condition can still be satisfying, especially when stored properly and kept in high-grade condition. It makes a great foundational piece in any Lincoln cent collection. It also represents the beginning of the Memorial Reverse series, which lasted until 2008. AS with any collectible. Condition is key. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 using the Sheldon grading scale. A 1959 D. Lincoln cent in mint state 65 or higher with full red color, meaning it has not turned brown over time, is worth significantly more than a worn, circulated version. Collectors often send their best examples to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. It's also important to be cautious about fakes and altered coins. Because of the fame of the $1.4 million wheatback version, some individuals have tried to alter regular coins by replacing the reverse or restamping them. Always verify rare coins through certified grading and authentication before buying or selling. Aside from its collectible appeal, the 1959 D penny is an interesting piece of American history. It represents a change in design philosophy at the mint and is a reflection of how the U.S. chose to honor one of its most respected presidents. It also symbolizes the transition from a more classic design to a modern era of coinage. Over the decades, billions of Lincoln Memorial cents have been struck, and although the 1959 D version is not rare, it holds a unique place as the first of its kind. For anyone starting a Lincoln cent collection, it's an essential starting point and a great way to understand the evolution of American coins whether you're a casual coin hunter, a seasoned numismatist, or someone fascinated by rare finds like the $1.4 million penny. The story of this coin, 1 cent 1959 D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history.